Small office and home office networks, commonly known as SOHO environments, are prime targets for threat actors because they frequently rely on a single point of defense. Firewalls are rarely sufficient on their own to protect these networks. A perimeter router may block unsolicited external traffic, but it cannot prevent a user from inadvertently downloading a malicious payload from an internal machine. Securing these environments requires a clear distinction between two concepts: a vulnerability and a threat. A vulnerability is a specific weakness in the system's architecture, whereas a threat is the actor or mechanism that exploits that weakness. Building a defense for a network like this involves using a specific taxonomy to categorize potential attacks. IT professionals analyze risks across three primary categories: system vulnerabilities, human engineering, and network attacks. To secure a network, an IT professional must first accurately categorize the attack vector to apply the exact required mitigation. In software systems, time acts as a primary vulnerability factor, determining how long a system remains exposed to a specific threat. This diagram shows a zero-day vulnerabilities lifecycle, a flaw unknown to the vendor when first exploited. The critical exposure exists between Step 2, initial exploit, and Step 5, patch release. This 0 days of defense means security tools fail without a reference signature. This window was utilized during the Stuxnet worm campaign, which deployed multiple Windows 0 days simultaneously to compromise industrial infrastructure. While 0 days are temporary threats, end-of-life or EOL software creates permanent vulnerabilities. Without updates for systems like Windows 7, known flaws remain exploitable indefinitely. Attackers actively scan for these static targets. Furthermore, EOL software fails modern compliance standards, leaving long-term security gaps. Time is a vector that cannot be patched. Systems remain temporarily vulnerable while waiting for a fix, or permanently vulnerable when vendor support ceases. Attackers often prefer to bypass digital perimeters by targeting the users themselves, rather than searching for complex software flaws. This is social engineering, the manipulation of individuals to gain access to confidential information. Phishing is the primary vector, but it has highly targeted variants. Spear phishing uses personal details to target specific employees, while whaling focuses exclusively on high-value targets like executives. These attacks move across different communication channels. Vishing utilizes voice calls, smishing uses SMS text messages, and quishing uses malicious QR codes to redirect users to credential harvesting sites. Threat actors also utilize physical exploits. Dumpster diving is a low-tech but effective method for retrieving sensitive data. Attackers search trash for printed emails, employee records, and sticky notes with passwords. They also look for old hard drives lacking proper sanitization. Preventing these exploits require physical mitigations: shredding sensitive documents, using badging systems to prevent tailgating, and using data destruction software or physical degaussing to wipe discarded drives. Even robust encryption is ineffective if an attacker can simply retrieve a password from a discarded sticky note or trick an employee into providing it. Before launching an attack, threat actors perform footprinting. This is the reconnaissance phase used to map network assets and identify exploitable systems. Attackers then use spoofing to forge IP addresses or DNS routing, disguising their identity to bypass network firewalls. On wireless networks, this impersonation is known as an evil twin attack. A rogue access point broadcasts an identical name to a trusted network to trick users into connecting. Once connected, the evil twin captures session cookies and steals passwords sent over the network in plain text. If attackers obtain encrypted passwords from a stolen hash database, they use specialized tools to crack them offline. A dictionary attack tests known password lists and common variations. If that is unsuccessful, a brute force attack exhaustively tests every possible character combination until it finds a match. Neutralizing these attacks require 12 to 16 character passphrases, account lockout policies, and multi-factor authentication, or MFA. Because network perimeters are inherently porous, internal safeguards like MFA are necessary to mitigate the impact of stolen credentials. Securing data against interception and tampering requires a mathematical structure, a layer of protection known as cryptography. This diagram illustrates symmetric encryption, relying on a single shared key for both encryption and decryption. Protocols like AES are incredibly fast and efficient for large data volumes like VPN tunnels. However, if this single key is leaked, all associated data is immediately compromised. Digital signatures address a different problem, verifying authenticity and non-repudiation. In this asymmetric model, the sender uses their private key to sign the data. The receiver then uses the sender's public key to verify the message hasn't been tampered with. The choice of cryptographic tool depends on the goal. Use symmetric encryption to hide data, and digital signatures to verify its origin. Securing a network requires coordinating administrative policies and technical protocols. Understanding zero-day life cycles helps prioritize patches and phase out end-of-life systems. Recognizing physical and social engineering threats dictates user training. Finally, robust cryptography and MFA safeguard against network spoofing and credential theft. By systematically categorizing threats and applying these precise mitigations, an IT professional can successfully transform a vulnerable SOHO network into a hardened infrastructure.